Hey guys, welcome back. It has been a long time, but my name is Kylie Gray. Gotta fix my flag over here, it's all twisted up. I have no excuses. I've just been busy. But we're gonna head out to the, I'm gonna just show you around. It's been a while. Oh, it's looking so cheerful up here on the porch. Okay, so we're in the high tunnel, and at first I wanted to apologize for all my, like, oh, I'm so sorry for all my weeds. But I'm having a new outlook on life because I watch a few garden YouTube channels, and I don't know as well, I take that back. I know one person that has like a perfect garden, but they have a lot of employees that work full-time maintaining their garden. So I am not going to apologize for my jungle of weeds here because I feel like it's normal. It's normal, especially for a mom on this homestead I am primarily running this homestead. My husband helps out here and there, but it's mainly me. And I got weeds. So there's that. I did get these two beds cardboarded and compost, which in this high tunnel, we've had this now for 3 years, and I have never fully composted it, which sounds weird. We just kind of were making do with what we had. And the plan for this greenhouse is to weed whack it, which we've already weed whacked it once, but water, yeah, you get a lot of. Anyway, the moral of my story is we're gonna weed whack the edges. We gotta lay down the landscape fabric on the edges and what have you. And we got a little carried away with the compost on the middle aisle, but such is life. I did get one arch up. I think it's a little wonky at the bottom, and I got a trellis up today. So that's what I wanted to show you. Also, my tomatoes. These may be sad people, but they are going to be okay. My tomatoes, my cows are going crazy. They've been fed, they've been all the things. So all these tomatoes, I started them a little too early because, well, my sister had a really awesome greenhouse last year, and she told me she started it May 8th last year, and she had beans and squash, and her tomatoes and peppers seemed way bigger than mine at the time. And I thought she started her tomatoes and peppers for that time at May. I thought she put them in her greenhouse at May 8th. So when I started my seeds, I counted back from May 8th, roughly, when I needed to start seeds. And I ended up finding out from her, she didn't start them in May 8th. She just direct sowed her seeds, and she put her tomatoes out at the beginning of June. Because we are zone 3, we get frost all year round, and we live in a very cold climate. So we have to be growing our tomatoes and heat-loving things in a greenhouse because of the things I just stated. I'm getting distracted because I'm getting really mad right now because my 2 beautiful peach trees that have done amazing the last 2 years look like they're dying. They blossomed and everything, and it looks like I have some leaves coming, but it looks like the whole top is dead. Like, how does it go from being fully in bloom to now dying? That makes me want to cry. My eyeballs out. I have another peach tree. Apple trees are doing great, but okay. So I got these tomatoes in, and this is our 3rd year in this greenhouse, and in years past, I have not trellised my tomatoes whatsoever because, like I said, we get frost in summer. Obviously, with that, when you're a zone 3, and we have a very short season, it becomes, how do I put this? We get cold really quick in the fall. So having the tomatoes on the ground where they got to absorb the heat from the ground, the cat over here is cracking me up, it's attacking a weed, and absorbs the heat from the ground, it extends your tomato season. But with that, because they haven't been trellised, I've lost a lot of fruit because it's been on the ground, and it's either been missed because I couldn't see it because of all the foliage, and it's rotted, or it's taken a lot longer to ripen because of all the foliage. So I'm going to do some this year as an experiment on a trellis system, this lovely cattle panel here. And these are all my indeterminate tomatoes. So there's 2 types of tomatoes when growing tomatoes. There's an indeterminate and a determinate tomato. So what you're going to see is some struggle busting tomatoes. They'll be all right. They should have been out like a month ago. It's now June 4th. They'll be okay. I've done this before. It'll work out. They'll work out. Now my peppers, on the other hand, they have not been planted. I still have a whole nother tray of tomatoes I need to plant, and I've just been debating on how I'm going to do it. My peppers are jamming, and I started those really early. I think I was supposed to start them in January, but I don't know. I need to look back on when I did, and I need to mark that date down because I am going to do that from every year because they're beautiful and they are blooming, and that'll be a topic for a different day, but they need to get planted out here tomorrow. I have a whole nother tray of tomatoes, and they're my determinate tomatoes, which are my favorite, and I grew mainly San Marzanos. Those are my favorites as well, and I did some Roma, so I think that's it. Now I did find some San Marzanos that are a pole. There's two different kinds of San Marzanos, which makes it makes a lot of more sense because a gal had posted years ago a comment and was like, in Italy they wouldn't trellis the San Marzanos, but they would spiral it around itself, so it'd be like a coil on the ground. And I'm like, how do you do that with a bush tomato? But now I realize there's an indeterminate variety, and that's probably what they're using in San Marzano, Italy. And so I got those, but I didn't get them till later, so they're really small. But I'm going to try and plant those out as well to see just to see. And so I'm going to be doing, so I think so this is what I've decided. I have 4 tiny tomatoes here that are determinate, and they're my Glacier and my Moscovich tomato, which are typically my first ones that I get fruit off of every year. But my heirlooms, they do really well in our short season, so at least not being trellis, they do really well. So I hope I didn't shoot myself in the foot with this. I was thinking of doing 4 arches over the main pathway, but I think I'm only going to do 3, and because it's going to interfere with this big trellis of tomatoes, and I'm going to use that 4th trellis as I'm going to extend this cattle panel down. So that way I can try, and even though they are determinate tomatoes, I'm going to try and put some San Marzanos up against it just so I have something to tie it to. And then I'm also going to do this half with peppers and some San Marzanos and Romas that are not going to be trellis, just as a backup in case those get nipped by frost. So that is the high tunnel plans. Everything's a little crazy in here, and I'm all right with it. We're fine. We're moving on. We're grooving. We'll get there. It doesn't have to be perfect, and I don't have to be a person that only shows perfection on YouTube because my life isn't perfect. My gardens certainly aren't, and I don't want that to ever come across on a video. I don't think it ever has, but just in case. That is my brain mentality, though. I'm like, oh, don't look at this until it's perfect, or don't show that, or like, it is what it is. I got weeds. Probably you do too. This is the beginning of the season for us. I could have had this done, but I have other gardens, which you're about to see, and we're going to show you what's pop-a-lopping in all of those, and I still have more work to do in every single garden I own, which is okay. It'll come with time. We'll get it done. This was a big deal. I was out here like giving myself heat stroke because even though it was in like I don't think it got above 70 today, it was blazing getting it in here. But this was a big deal, big accomplishment for me to get done these tomatoes in the ground, and now I just need to get the rest of the tomato. I got some dahlias in the ground too. Also, you're gonna see I got some green stalks. They're my Mother's Day present. They're not fully planted either, so let's just ignore that. It is windy. It has been nothing but windy. Why do I have to have a carabiner padlock on here? Because deer break in when they're serious around this joint, and yeah, they're serious because they will get in if I don't have it padlocked. It's so crazy. My husband's playing some ball with my oldest and supposedly my twins, but they're a little rascally, so who knows where they are. So you're gonna see this old-fashioned tiller here. This is my grandfather's. He has been urging me to use it for years and years and years, and I said, Grandpa, we're a no-dig garden. I don't have a tiller, but with life circumstances, I brought it home, and I put some gas in it, and we got it going, and it is an oldie goldie. We don't till, but I was gonna till. I'm gonna tell you my story. Let's go in the big garden. Oh, you brought me some more cardboard. Thank you. The garlic is jamming. She's doing amazing. I don't ever remember it being this big this early, ever. It's doing really well. So I weeded half this bed. I still need to weed the other half, but such is life. I normally get my scapes. I remember coming back, we normally do like a family reunion. Who She's mooing like a crazy banshee. She must be in heat. Ping pong. I have vivid memories of coming home from family stuff on the 4th of July and harvesting my garlic scapes. So, but they look like they're gonna be ready sooner than the 4th of July. I could be crazy, but yeah. My onions, one row is doing really good. My leaky babies are coming up. I planted these from seed. They're coming up through the mulch. The other half of this garden is the community garden, which we started, and the progress has been I've had to re-sow a lot of stuff, and you'll see it in another video, but you might get glimpses of it. There's really just not that much going on, but there is. So this bed is a bunch of my storage carrots, and I started to mulch it, and then that's as far as I got. Life. These are parsnips, strawberries that were a gift from a member of my community garden, and this whole bed is filled. My onions. And if you notice in these onion beds, the bigger stalks, those are garlics. And they're just volunteers from last year. Must have missed them or something. But there's a ton of onion. My onions are just thriving. This bed we had planted cabbage or broccoli in it. Yep, all died. Dead. This bed needs a serious weeding, and so does this one. I haven't got to it yet, and that's okay. Back here we have 5 beds. Everything's kind of a mess. We have 5 beds back here, and I had left potatoes in here, and this is where I was about to till, because there's so much sod coming up. This was barren wasteland when we put these gardens in, and add compost, add water, and you get sod. So apparently the people before us must have had sod. And I was going to till this up because it wasn't doing good. I didn't think my experiment made it. What happened was we planted a crap ton of potatoes in here, and there's 5 3-foot wide beds, no, 5-foot beds by 50 feet long. That's a lot of potatoes. And I harvested some out of here last year, but not much, and they were kind of small. So I was like, I'm gonna overwinter them, because every time I overwinter things, they just explode the next year and I get a massive harvest. So that was my plan. But I have been waiting and waiting and waiting for sprouts, and nothing is sprouting. And yeah, but they are. So I was about to till it up, and my plan was, I'm gonna till this up and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna throw my garden morals to the wayside. I got my grandpa's old tiller and I'm gonna till. And then I saw out here today, I got sprouts everywhere. All sorts of potatoes coming up. There's one, there's another one. They're everywhere. So they are coming up. I do have a definite weed problem going on around this joint. But what is this? Oh my gosh, this is hysterical. So how many years ago? 4 years ago probably, I was a cut flower farm, and I had sweet peas back here, and they didn't do anything. Nothing good. I'm just looking in this wild patch of grass, and look what I have. Do you see this? This is all sweet peas. What the heck? 4 years later, are you joking me? How is this even a thing? Well, they're coming up through this lawn. Yeah. So, anyway, the moral of my story is, this is sprouting. It's out of control with weeds. I could weed whack it and mulch it, and I think that's just what I'm gonna have to do. I have a ton of pine needles I'm gonna use and just place it over where it's crazy. I hope that was on video, that crazy cat that jumped like 3 feet in the air. That would be funny. So, weed eating, yada yada yada. We got the tractor in here the other day and ripped up this weed fabric. It was just covered in like a lawn, and got it up finally. There's a lot of work. But I told myself today, because sometimes I get overwhelmed with gardening and the amount of work I have to do. And I'm like, you know what, Kylie? If you would just spend one weekend off and on out here. You don't even have to spend the whole day. Just come and putz around, and you could get this all done. This whole big garden, your half, all done for the year, and you'd be good to go. Weed eating, mulching, planting, because I have the starts, because I told myself I wasn't going to buy the starts this year because I was going to grow them myself and I was going to do all I could to grow them myself. Well, I bought starts because I failed, and that's okay. So everything's looking pretty good for what's going on here. Got a lot of work to do, but for all my crops that I planted, I actually have some shallots I need to get out here. They did really well. I need to get those out here, and I need to finish my beds. Oh, also, I had told you guys I bought some trees. I'm just jibber jabbering. It's been a month. I don't even think I posted a video for the month of May. I bought some trees off of, my rose bush is alive. That's exciting. Okay, I bought, oh, we might have one that died. Okay, but I bought several trees off a really hardy nursery out of upstate New York, out of Potsdam, New York, it's called St. Lawrence Nursery, a gal local to our area that has had great success with growing fruit trees and grapes outside with no cover, told me about this place. So she gave me the inside scoop. I know they're done with orders for the year, and I didn't want to talk about them until I knew about them myself. So anyway, I got some trees. I got some apple trees, some really unique varieties. A lot of them are good down to -50, which we've never been down -50 here, but they're just, some of them are really little. This one's doing good. And on a more detailed garden tour, I'll tell you the varieties. But I didn't want to yak at you. Oh, okay, so my last tree, she might be dying. She's hanging on for her dear life. Yeah, that's the saddest one. I'm wondering if my sprinkler is not getting it. And also I had 4 grapes that I planted out, and they had green on them because they were in my greenhouse, and they all got nipped back. I'm actually not even seeing them out here.
Watch out, Vinny.
What? Oh, wrong bed. Whew. Okay, this is my grape. It's looking lively, you know. It was lively, so I know when they came that it was alive. All this cardboard is for these beds that have a ton of weeds. Anyway, I'm praying that the roots are just growing in and the leaves will come back. We had some cold nights. Oh, I forgot to show you my rose bush. Oh, so beautiful. I got that from a plant sale in the Pine. I don't know, last year or the year before. Thought it was dead. Jane. So I put a cage around it just in case, so I'd remember it. It's alive. This is a choke cherry, and it was a tree, and we had so much to do on this property, we just let it go, and it had all these runners. The main part of the tree has now kicked the bucket, but it's turned into this really awesome shrub, and we're just embracing the shrub. And I looked it up, and these can be shrubs or trees, and I really like the shrub. So anyway, that's that final space of the day. It's a jungle. We're gonna get some blooms. Holy mother, that thing sprouted up. Raspberries out of control. Walking onions are out of control. Lilac out of control. Comfrey out of control. But something. Oh, and all my sunflowers for Sunflower Alley are just pop-a-lopping. They are just living their best life. All this green. The baseball's gonna be in the background, so you're gonna hear that. So, such is life. My chives are already blooming. I wanted to get in here and cut them before they did. Yeah, I gotta get in here and do a quick weeding. I think if I just worked for like 30 minutes, it would be under control. And I made this whole bed walking onions this fall, and they're all coming up. They're doing good, mixed in with some orage. It's all doing good. I'm thinking of actually taking some out. So, because I thought these were the bulbing walking onions, and they're not. You kind of just need to use them for like the greens, which I like the bulbing. What the? Barb is already bolting. I'm trying to. No. I've watered this garden one time, and it just does its own thing. And obviously there are some weeds, but it's not that bad. It just does its own thing. It's kind of like autopilot at this point. This is what I wanted to show you because this is crazy. This currant bush did really well last year, and I thought that was its peak. It wasn't. It is just absolutely loaded. Do you see all that? They're starting to become little berries. They'll turn red when they're ripe, but it's dripping. It's just dripping with berries. Oh my gosh. These raspberries are out to here now in this bed. That is not good. I need to start digging them up and transplanting them out. I've noticed I have my cabbages or my broccoli I planted in here. Their little babies are coming up. They're doing really well. This bed needs weeded for sure. And mainly they're just baby weeds, but I'm not going to do that until these get bigger. And I see it popping up all throughout the bed, so it's doing really well. Wow, those peas had some serious germination. These peas, they're doing really well. And the peas by my windmill are doing really well. So kale, only 2 of the 3 survived on that side, and 1 over there. Dang, that's not good, but that's plenty. So everything's jamming. I got some purple potatoes from a nursery here in town in La Pine, and from this rake, which is still here, from over is empty, and I'm gonna pop in those potatoes. My lettuce is coming up in these spots. Oh my gosh, look, it got a little carried away with those sunflowers, and in this bed too. You definitely can transplant sunflowers, so I'll be doing that. Also, praise report, I did a bunch of cuttings of my gooseberry, which I believe this is a pick swell, and they're rooting in water in my house. So that is good news. I've tried it a million times before. It's just never worked for me. But this time I was diligent with changing out the water. And also I told my children to remind me, and they are nothing but good reminders. So they helped me out and would change my water for me, and we got roots. I put them under my grow lights with my peppers and my tomatoes, and they just did a fabulous job. They're rooting. Not everybody, I would say I went through them, I probably had like 20 or so cuttings, and I think just went through and there was like 4 that didn't root. So I have quite a few cuttings, which is amazing. I'm going to plant them up. I love gooseberries, and they are pretty loaded as well. And my friend Esther, who was here, if she wasn't on a video before this, it's a beast of a video, so I have to edit it. But Esther is another YouTuber who lives in northern Idaho, who you would think would have a harsher climate than we do, but she doesn't. So she's at like 2,500 feet, and we're pushing pushing 43, 44 feet, 100 feet here, and we get frost in summer. And she can, but it can drop. It's like, but it's not a guarantee. We're here, it's like if we go a summer without it, it's a rarity, as in, but where she is, it is more rare if they get it, but they can get it, if that makes any sense. Anyway, you could go check her out at Esther's Eden, but she'll be featured on this channel in a little bit, in the next video, but probably the next video. This one's probably going to be a little easier to edit. She had told me that she just puts the gooseberry down on the ground and puts a rock on it, and it creates its new plant. It roots itself, which is nice. Checking my strawberry plants, see if I got any berries. I've been getting berries out of my one in my high tunnel. I can see celery coming up. I planted some celery in here, planted some dill. Everything's kind of popping. It's just been, it does need a little bit of work, but it's not too bad. Another comfrey. Ooh, my elderberries, they're coming back. I thought they were toast. They're doing quite well. If I spent a weekend over in the big garden and got that under control, we're done. If I spent an hour in here, we'd be well, I give myself 2 hours if I have to dig up all these raspberries, but an hour to get the weeds under control in here, if that. And this last row planted, probably an hour. Yeah, these raspberries are they're becoming invasive. Any tips for transplanting raspberries? You just dig them up and cut off the root and then like root it, or just pop it in where you want it? What do you do? Everything's just doing really well. I'm very pleased. I've watered, like I said, I've watered it 1 time, and I've been watering my big garden every dang day. So this has just been kind of hands off. It's been amazing. And every time I come in here, yeah, there's weeds, yeah, there's work to do, but it's like, look at all of these perennials that I don't have to do any work to. They just show up, and I love it. So as a treat for myself, I bought this rose I found at Lowe's. I bought 2 actually, but they were kind of pricey. They're like 50 bucks. They're zone 3, absolutely beautiful. They're on my porch right now. And I think I'm going to plant one here. And it's in the corner. Tree Beard, my tree is right here. He has a face, he has a name. He provides a lot of respite and shade for this garden. And although that rose might need full sun, I'll have to look at that. But I got a rose and I think I'm going to plant one in here because I feel like it'll succeed in here and I really want it to. So yeah, there's a little garden update on all the spaces. I didn't update you on the little greenhouse. Meh, you'll be fine. But it's got plant starts in it and it's a disaster. It's such as life at this time of year. Actually, that greenhouse is a disaster most of its life. It is what it is. Yeah, there's the garden spaces. It's coming along, doing its thing. Holy mother! That freaked me out so bad. I thought it sounded like a gunshot. It's a baseball pitch. Oh my goodness, that freaked me out. My heart is still racing. He's working on with my twins. One twin. I have 3 boys. 2 are interested in athletics. 1 not so much, but that's okay. He's played for the last 7 years. We've had him in some sports and I just got him into ukulele lessons. So I think that'll be a good thing. We'll see how it goes. I got wild boys though, so it's good to have them in activities. So there we go. The crazy wild garden walkabout. The geese are honking at me. Thank you guys so much for following along with me. I'll see you on my next video. It won't be a month away, I swear. It won't be. And I'll link Esther's channel down below so you guys can go check her out and you'll see more of her on my next video. Bye guys.
All gas, no brake. Good job. Good job. That was hard, Zay. Watch out. Let the reins go. Come on, Rand. All gas, no brake.
I realized as I'm standing here, I'm like, you got hit in the knee last time he was pitching. And I think I'll film from afar.
Okay. All gas, no brake.
Nice.
Ooh, that hurt.
Can that be included on the video?
Strike.
Yeah.
Okay.
Strike. Another one. All gas, no brake. Good job. Good job.